Hi, my name's Claire Walker, and in this video I'd like to introduce or explain a short and simple technique that you might want to use anytime that you feel overwhelmed by a problem or a situation. It's a very quick and simple idea, but it can help with that feeling of overwhelm a lot and can be used more or less anytime, any place, anywhere. Here's the thing. Whether you have something that's making you feel overwhelmed at the moment, or you're just thinking about a situation that might happen or has happened, the first step is to very briefly get in touch with that feeling of overwhelm. And I do mean very briefly, because the whole point is transcending it rather than getting entrapped by it. So get in touch with that feeling and immediately ask yourself, the deepest part of yourself, your unconscious mind, to think about what that feeling would look like if it were a thing. What would it look like? What would it sound like? What would it be like if it was an object? For example, one person might think it looked like a large wall, or for somebody else it might be a big boulder, or for you it might be something completely different. And if nothing visual springs to mind, it may be a sound or a texture. It doesn't matter at all, as long as it's something that you can visualize or experience and appreciate as if it were in the space in front of you. And we know it's not, but just as if it were in the space in front of you. And at this stage, it doesn't matter if it seems rather big. It may do, because of it representing the feeling of overwhelm. But as soon as you have that image or that representation, just take a deep breath and imagine that every part of you, every part of your inner self is relaxing and becoming greater in stature, even than you are already. So you're breathing in, and with every breath you're becoming that bit bigger and greater than your feeling of overwhelm and its representation. And just imagine now that the you that you really are is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Obviously this is a mental thing rather than a physical thing, but the mental and emotional part of you, the part of you that can really deal with this feeling of overwhelm, is transcending it, is gaining in size and in scope and in stature. And with every breath it's increasing and getting bigger, so that the part of you that can deal with this is now bigger than wherever you are sitting or standing or lying. It's bigger than the surroundings. It's bigger than the area where you are. It's reaching up into the sky and down into the ground. It's bigger than your country. It's bigger than the world. And let it expand. Let that feeling of the real you, the inner you, expand into space, if you will, and out into the universe, so that it is absolutely huge. And from that space, at the top of the universe, or the top of the universe as far as you can experience it, just be aware of the size of the representation of your feeling of overwhelm right now. And suddenly that feeling of overwhelm and its representation is pretty small, isn't it? And so from this position, allow yourself to think what you can do most easily just to transcend that tiny little feeling of overwhelm down there. It's now so much smaller than you. And for some people you'll just get a thought or an idea that you want to act on. Other people might want to draw or write something. Still other people, you may be one of those people who would prefer to actually sort of dialogue with the little object down there that used to be your feeling of overwhelm. Whichever way it is for you, just allow the easiest, best and most complete solution just to come to you from this space that has completely transcended your feeling of overwhelm as it was before. And when you know you have that, feel free to pause this video for as long as you need in order to get there. But when you know you have that, just take a deep breath and allow the representation of the feeling of overwhelm, the tiny thing down there, to just transform itself into whatever it needs to be for you to carry on your ordinary everyday life or perhaps not so ordinary and not so everyday life, but for you to carry on your life exactly in its best form. Just let that object, that representation, transform itself so that it becomes something. It may disappear, it may turn into something you love, it may turn into something you carry with you, it may turn into something you just want to get rid of. Let it turn into whatever it turns into, and in your imagination do whatever is appropriate with it. And once that is done, allow yourself another deep breath, and slowly and gently just come back. Allow your mind and heart and every inner part of you to come fully back into your physical body, the world that's really around you and the ground beneath your feet. And come back to the everyday world. Just notice how different you feel and know that you can repeat this at any time. Thank you. Thanks for watching and listening. That's the end of this recording.